So let's talk about a role that's fast becoming a secret weapon for scaling companies, the fractional CMO. If you're a leader, maybe a founder or CEO, and you feel like your marketing is just busy but not really productive, and you're trying to figure out how to turn all that activity into actual measurable revenue, well, you're in the right place. This explainer is for you. Does this sound painfully familiar? I mean, you're doing all the things you're supposed to do in marketing. There's this constant flurry of activity, right? Reports are coming in, everyone looks busy. But when you step back and look at the bottom line, the needle just isn't moving. It's a super common and honestly, a really frustrating place to be.
And that really begs the question, right? Why? Why does all this effort, all this marketing activity, so often fall flat when it comes to actual growth? The source material we're digging into today has a really clear answer. It's not a tactics problem. It's a leadership problem. More specifically, it's a systems problem.
All right, so let's dive into our first section here and really define this situation. We're calling it the growth plateau problem. You know that feeling of just spinning your wheels, lots of motion, but you're not actually going anywhere? Okay, check out this scenario. It probably hits close to home for a lot of you. The context is basically organized chaos. High output, endless meetings, bigger budgets, but the diagnosis shows there's no shared direction. You've got different teams or channels pulling in totally different directions, fighting over budget, each trying to make their own little metric look good. The result, it's like a tug of war where nobody wins. But now, look at the intervention. The fractional CMO doesn't just add more activity. They actually hit pause, and they rebuild the strategy around one single powerful story. And the outcome is amazing, right? Less frantic work, but way better leads and a faster sales cycle. It's the perfect example of less is more. So we've seen the chaos that a lack of strategy can cause. This brings us right to the solution, the fractional CMO. But what is this role exactly? And we need to be really clear here. This isn't just another marketer you hire. It's a whole new category of leadership. And here's the key definition. A fractional CMO isn't there to just manage tasks. They are there to own and build the entire marketing engine. Think of them as the architect of your growth system. They handle everything from your core positioning and strategy all the way to defining the metrics that actually matter. They install a process for making smart decisions, giving you that C-suite level leadership, but without the full-time C-suite cost. This comparison just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the strategic leader. That's your fractional CMO. They define the whole playing field. They decide what the brief for a campaign should even be in the first place. Then on the right, you have the tactical executor. Think an agency or a junior marketer. They are fantastic at playing the game within the rules they're given. A fractional CMO is the one who sets those rules. Okay, this is a critical warning. You have to listen to this. If you hire a brilliant strategist, but then treat them like an order taker, the whole thing is pretty much doomed to fail. You see it right here. If a founder micromanages strategy or refuses to give them real authority, that fractional CMO just becomes a very, very expensive project manager. Remember, the goal isn't to ship more stuff, it's to see a real tangible impact on your revenue. So knowing what can go wrong naturally leads to the next big question, when is the right time to actually bring one in? I mean, it's a big investment, and timing is absolutely everything. So let's figure out if your company is truly ready for this. This chart is a great way to do a quick self-diagnosis. So look at the left side. Does this sound like you? You've got consistent demand coming in, but growth has kind of flatlined. Your team seems super busy, but they're not aligned. You're just craving some real executive judgment. If you're nodding your head, you're probably in the sweet spot. But on the other hand, if you look at the right side, if you're still trying to nail down your core product, or you literally have no one to execute on a strategy, you might want to hold off for a bit. And honestly, this one sentence just nails it. A fractional CMO isn't some kind of magician who can start a fire with nothing. They're the expert you bring in when you've already got a small fire going. You know, some market traction, some existing demand. Their job is to take that little campfire and turn it into a full-blown rocket engine, a powerful, repeatable system for growth. Okay, so let's say you're ready. You've decided to hire one. What do you actually get? The answer might surprise you. It's not about getting a pile of documents or ideas. It's about getting a coherent, working system for growth. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And for good reason. You're making a big investment, and you want to know what the tangible output is going to be. And the answer, once again, is about shifting your mindset away from assets and towards operating clarity. So this is what they built, what we're calling a marketing operating system. Let's just walk through it real quick. It all starts with step 1, positioning.
You have to create one unified story for the whole company. Then, step 2 is getting crystal clear on your ideal customer profile, your ICP. That means knowing who you serve, but just as importantly, who you don't serve. From there, step 3 is your channel strategy, where to play and where to wait. Step 4, your KPI stack. This is huge. It means tying every single action back to pipeline and revenue. And finally, step 5, clarifying who owns what decision. See, this isn't just a to-do list. It's a blueprint for making good decisions over and over again.
All right, so you've hired one. You're excited. What should you actually expect? It is so important to have a realistic timeline because the biggest, most important changes don't just happen overnight.
I'm going to be really clear here because this is so important. You are not going to see a hockey stick revenue chart in week 2. It's just not going to happen. But what you will see are the leading indicators of success. Decisions that used to take weeks of debate suddenly get made in a day. Your campaigns will get fewer but way more focused and sharp. And for the first time, your message is going to be consistent everywhere. Revenue is the lagging indicator. Clarity is the leading one.
So here's what that journey typically looks like. In the first 30 days, it's all about diagnosis. It's about uncovering the hard truths about what's actually broken. Then, in the next 30 days, the focus shifts to removing those roadblocks, cutting out the noise and getting the whole team aligned. And by day 90, you should really start to see validation. The system starts working, and you'll see repeatable signals and a tangible improvement in the quality of your leads.
Here's another great real-world example of this in action, this time focusing on reporting. The diagnosis here is total reporting chaos. These dense, confusing dashboards that just create noise. Everybody's claiming success with their vanity metrics, but leadership has no idea what's really going on. The CMO's intervention? Simplify everything. Connect every single report directly to revenue impact. And the result? A clear signal. Leadership finally regains confidence because for the first time, they can actually see cause and effect.
As we start to wrap things up, the real goal here isn't just to tell you about a job title. It's to give you a whole new way to think about growth. It's a shift from asking, what should we do next, to asking, what kind of system do we need to build?
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. The system we've been walking through, developed by the author Kami Shah, has been seriously battle-tested. That number you see on the screen, over $300 million. That's the measurable revenue impact from more than 650 of these engagements. So yeah, this system works.
So if any of this is hitting home for you, the key takeaway here is not to rush out and hire a fractional CMO tomorrow. The smartest first step you can take is to get clarity. A short, focused diagnostic to pinpoint exactly where your system is broken is infinitely more valuable than just jumping headfirst into a long-term contract.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway, the core message of this entire explainer. When growth stalls, our gut instinct is always to just add more activity, to get busier. But the real breakthrough, that comes from stepping back and actually understanding the system. So the question I want to leave you with is this: are you just going to keep adding more gears to a broken machine, or are you finally ready to engineer a system that's truly built for growth?